we'll be looking today at the prospecting step of the selling cycle. Those of you that are in sales already will know that we always have to be on the lookout for new clients, for new customers. And the reason for that is that, first of all, we are constantly losing existing customers. Why? Some of them move to competitors. Some of them simply go away. Unfortunately, some of them pass away. Some of them don't like our products anymore. For various reasons, we lose customers. So we are constantly having to find new customers. Prospecting is thus a very real part of a salesperson's life, very much part of this sales process. And in the selling cycle, we spend a lot of time on this step, and we actually call it, we've given it a name, and hence prospecting. When you study through the notes, you'll find definitions, you'll find all sorts of introductions to prospecting. Simply, in simple English, it's finding new customers. You have to set time apart for it, you have to plan for it, you have to think about it. And if you are, particularly when you are a sales rep, you have to spend a certain time of your day or a certain time of your week and a certain time of your month looking actively for new customers, actively prospecting. I have mentioned the importance of prospecting, and if you do not prospect, you won't find new customers, and your existing customers will just not be able to provide you with enough business to keep going. All right, so what is a prospect? You know, we're looking for new customers constantly, and you've heard the word lead. People provide you with leads, or you look for leads, or the company gives you leads. But a lead is simply a name. A lead is a list. A lead is something you can, companies sell you leads, company give you names or give you contact details. That is a lead. A lead is not really a prospect. You have to take that lead and qualify the lead to become a prospect. So what makes a lead a qualified prospect? First of all, your lead must have the ability, the money or the cash, either cash or credit worthiness, the capability to pay for the product, to pay for your services. Second of all, does the lead have the authority to buy? So they might have the money, but they don't have the authority. They're not the person that is allowed to make the buying decision. And thirdly, do they have the desire? Do they really want the product? If somebody does not have the desire, they might simply return it. It might be an impulse buy, and they might simply return it. So those three characteristics are very important to qualify a lead into a prospect. We therefore talk about a qualified lead who becomes a prospect. Please make sure that you understand the difference between a lead and a prospect. We will look at satisfied customers in a lot of detail in our career. You realize that a satisfied customer is somebody that has a lot of relevance to you as a salesperson. First of all, satisfied customers refer us to a lot of other business. A satisfied customer is somebody that can provide leads who you can quantify and qualify into a prospect. A satisfied customer will provide you with more business. It is much cheaper to retain an existing customer than to find a new customer. So satisfied customers are people that you look after very vehemently. You defend your satisfied customers and you provide service. Customer service is something that is a whole department of the business that we look after and we spend a lot of money on. But satisfied customers is a way to provide leads and look for new business very much. All right, how do we as salespeople plan a prospecting strategy? You know, there's many, many different ways of finding prospects. In your business and in your organization, you will know how to prospect. Textbooks will give you the 8 prospecting methods and the 10 prospecting methods. And, they will talk about, when I studied sales a long time ago, they even told us to look at the telephone book. You don't even find a telephone book anymore, but anything that can provide you a list could give you leads. Your industry will have industry catalogs. Your company will have information, people that you've sold to, people that have purchased in the past. You will have things such as industry workshops, the good old internet, social media, friends and family, referrals. All those are prospecting methods. And of course, today with technology, so you will look at your industry, you will look at your company, you will look at your particular job. But prospecting is something you've got to take seriously. It's something that you've got to keep alive. You've got to plan for it. You've got to keep doing it. And you have to take it, as I've said, seriously. There are so many sources, and if you don't develop your own prospecting method, then somebody else will not give it to you. So please develop your own prospecting method. I just want to touch also on a couple of definitions. If you bear with me, psychographic definition and demographic definition. The demographics, we talk about Peter, who lives in Sandton. He is 25 years old. He wears a size 12 shoe. He is somebody we can prospect if we are selling to people who live in Sandton and we are selling to males. Then it's easy to find Peter because we know exactly where he lives and we know his age. However, we don't know what his preferences in life are. We don't know what Peter does. So now we look at psychographics. Psychographics is not so easy to quantify. So it doesn't have numbers to it. We look at people's lifestyle, we look at their values. These are the things people like to do. So we start looking at their hobbies, we start looking at their values in life. So now we understand the difference between psychographics and demographics. So let's take the relevance of psychographics and demographics into prospecting. So Peter lives in Sandton. He is 28 years old, and that's his demographics. His psychographics is he enjoys to mountain bike on weekends. But he's young. So if we prospect him, we can sell him as all sorts of cycling, mountain biking, cycling gear or cycling equipment. And why are we targeting him as a young cyclist? Well, probably more so because he's still very active, probably more so because he hasn't bought all the equipment yet. He's probably in the market still for a very good bicycle. He is probably still quite geeky. So that's how we're going to prospect him. Another way to understand prospecting is prospecting in a business-to-business scenario. Remember, we said a lead becomes qualified. One of the characteristics is they have to have the authority to purchase. So you are prospecting in a business-to-business scenario. You have identified a particular customer, a particular organization, and you've made an appointment. One of the latest steps we look at in the selling cycle is making appointments. You've now made an appointment, but who have you made the appointment with? It doesn't help to simply make the appointment with the person that you know or the person that you like, or maybe the receptionist. You have to make the appointment with the person who has the authority to make the purchase. So the buyer of the organization, if that is the person that does the buying, or in some organizations, maybe the CEO is the person that does the buying. But be very careful that you don't do the wrong thing. If you make an appointment with the CEO and you go through the whole pitch of trying to sell to the CEO and they are not the person that does the buying, you will be aiming at the wrong person. So be very clear when you prospect that you turn the lead into the prospect with the right characteristics. And the will to buy has to be correct. Why do they want to buy it? It has to be for the right reason. Again, if you are looking at a business to business scenario, the secretary might, or the PA might want a car. Everybody wants a business car, but does that person need the car? Will that person be using the car? So again, qualify your prospects relevantly, qualify your prospects correctly. In the textbook, they talk about the leaking bucket syndrome. It's a very simple way of trying to explain something that's quite complicated, or it doesn't have to be complex, but a bucket leaks. Customers are like that. You're losing them constantly, therefore you've got to keep filling the bucket. Find ways to prospect. Depends on the industry, depends on your company, depends on you as a person. With the internet today, there are so many ways to find leads. Qualify the leads and ultimately sell to them.